The Minimalists, Joshua Fields Millburn and Ryan Nicodemus, are on a mission to live meaningful lives with less and are helping others do the same through their website, books, podcasts, and Netflix film. I spoke with Joshua Fields Millburn about one of the minimalists, about reducing individual consumption and living simpler. Here's our conversation.
Josh, thank you so much for joining me. First question, and I want our viewers to know there is an entire documentary on Netflix where they can find out more about the minimalists and the lifestyle. But for people who may not know, who are tuning in right now, how did you get started on this journey? And, what exactly is minimalism?
Well, minimalism is the thing that gets us past the things so we can make room for life's most important things, which turns out aren't things at all. You asked about how we got started. It was about a dozen years ago. Two unfortunate events, actually. I had sort of living the American dream. I had everything I ever wanted. I grew up really poor and thought the answer to happiness must be accumulation. The right job title, the right amount of stuff, the luxury car, the big suburban house with more toilets than people. I had sort of all the trappings of our consumerist culture, right? And so I was living the American dream ostensibly, but it turns out it wasn't really my dream. And it took two events to really uncover that fact. The first thing that happened is my mom died right as I was getting ready to approach age 30, and then my marriage ended. And both of those things happened in the same month. And those two events really forced me to look around and start to question what had become my life's focus. And I realized I was so focused on all the wrong stuff, all the success and achievement and the trophies and the status symbols. And in our culture, it has a lot to do with the accumulation of stuff. The average American household has 300,000 items in it. And that'd be wonderful if it was making us more joyous and happy and content and complete. But of course, we all know that it's doing the opposite. With all of those things comes a lot of stress and debt and anxiety and discontent. And so as I started looking around and questioning everything in my life, I realized I really needed to simplify. I had complexed my life so much. I had built this complex life, interwoven so many unnecessary obligations and trinkets and material possessions and relationships and career obligations. There was a lot of clutter in my life. And it started with the material possessions in my life. But those material possessions were just a physical manifestation of what was going on inside me. Yes, I had a lot of external clutter for sure. But I also had a lot of internal clutter, mental clutter, spiritual clutter, career clutter, relationship clutter, a lot of clutter in my life that I had to start dealing with.
Right. And, living in America and really in the Western world in general, there is this obsession or this cultural norm of consumerism and, buying things, collecting stuff, as you say. Why is this so prevalent in our culture? And, I've noticed a trend, and it seems that as, the digital world expands, really, gosh, you can go on TikTok and there is so much advertising, for example, there. Everywhere you go, there's an advertisement. Would love to hear your take on the link between that and how that impacts us buying and collecting material items.
What a great observation. Yeah, we see upwards of 10,000 advertisements a day. According to Forbes, it's somewhere between 4,000 and 10,000, depending on where you live and the pervasiveness. But regardless, if you see 4,000 advertisements a day, what is their main job? It's to sell you something. Well, how do you sell someone something? By making them feel incomplete. And that's exactly what consumerism does. It promises something that can't be delivered. Consumerism is the ideology that buying things will make you happy or complete. But of course, we get the things that we want. We get that thing we always desired, but the object of our desire soon becomes the object of our discontent, right? So there's the price tag. We buy a thing, we buy some phone or gadget or whatever for $100, and that's the first price. But the second price is really all of the additional costs we don't think about at the point of purchase. There's the cost of storing the thing and maintaining the thing and charging the thing and watering the thing and replacing the batteries in the thing and fixing the thing, worrying about the thing, protecting the thing. There's a lot of costs that go into every single thing that we buy, and we literally can't afford it. The average household in America has $97,775 in non-mortgage debt. That's credit card debt, student debt, car debt. And so we buy a lot of things. There's nothing wrong with the stuff. Consumption isn't the problem. The problem is compulsory consumption, consumerism, thinking that those things are going to make us better or more complete. Now, it's true. Some of our material possessions will augment our life. They'll enhance our life. Ryan and I, as the minimalists, we're not against stuff. We're against unintentional consumption. We're against buying things because we think it's going to make us happy when a lot of those things are actually making us miserable.
And I heard you talk about the psychological aspect of that and, what it means to accumulate all this stuff that you might not necessarily need. But it seems like there's also a big environmental impact that's very negative when it comes to this compulsory consumption. In my mind, the first thing that comes to mind is fast fashion and going to a cheaper clothing store to buy a dress or a pair of jeans that's only going to last maybe one or two wears, and then you throw it out. Would love to hear more about what you think minimalism, how it could benefit the environment, and really our global ecosystem going forward.
It wasn't one of the initial benefits for me, environmentalism, but then I realized as I consume less, what happens? I produce less waste naturally. And so because I consume about 90% less than I used to, I'm also producing about 90% less waste. And what a beautiful benefit that is. Now, I noticed a bunch of other benefits as well. Yes, it helped me with my finances. It helped me live within my means. My relationships improved because I decluttered sort of toxic relationships from my life. And so there are all these beautiful, unexpected benefits of minimalism, and environmentalism is certainly one of them. I will tell you that you're right. We live in a bit of a disposable culture. I'll just buy it today. I'll throw it away this afternoon. Single-use plastics, and now we have single-use t-shirts and single-use pants. And unfortunately, when we are constantly consuming, we're in that cycle of consumption, we don't think about the actual costs to us and the environment when we're in that frenzy of consumerism.
Right. And, final question. What can a first-time minimalist or someone who's, early in their journey to minimalism do? I know that, we were chatting before this. I saw the documentary and I was, saying I was feeling light because I just moved, got rid of some things. But then I think of the prospect of getting rid of one or two items each day and thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get rid of all of my stuff. How am I going to live like this? Yeah. What's some advice you could give to someone beginning their journey?
I got three things for you. First off, it starts with a question. So this isn't a tip on how to do something. It's more of a why. And that question is, how might your life be better with less? And the reason that question's so important is the answer is different for everyone. So your version of simplifying, of simple living, of living with less, is going to look different from your neighbor or the person across the street or someone around the world. And so understanding the benefits of simplifying will give you that momentum you need to finally get started. What are the benefits? Because honestly, we know decluttering can be a bit boring. And so Ryan and I, we came up with something called the 30-day minimalism game. This is my second tip for you. And here's how it works. You can find all the details. In fact, you can download a free calendar at theminimalists.com/game. But you can print out that calendar and you can play with a friend or a family member. Because decluttering is a little boring, we found a way to make it fun with some friendly competition. Here's how it works. At the beginning of the month, you partner up with someone, a friend, a family member, a coworker. You both decide we're going to get rid of some stuff this month. First day of the month, you each get rid of one item. Second day of the month, 2 items. Third day of the month, 3 items, so forth and so on. It starts off really easy, get you that momentum you need to let go, because you might look around your house and say, how am I going to deal with all of this excess stuff? But as soon as you get that momentum, you start feeling freer and lighter and happier. And the next day, you're like, oh my goodness, I have to get rid of 4 things today. No problem. But by day 15, you're like, oh my goodness, I have to get rid of 15 items a day, and then I have to get rid of 16 items tomorrow, and it gets more difficult as the month progresses. Whoever goes the longest wins, and if you both make it to the end of the month, then you've both won because you've gotten rid of about 500 items, and that's a really good start. And the third thing I'd say is we have this minimalist rule book, 16 rules for living with less. It's completely free on our website at theminimalists.com. It's right there at the top, and it's setting up not rules in your life, but boundaries. So I'll give you a few examples there. One is called the seasonality rule. We also refer to it as the 90-90 rule. Pick up any item in your house. Have I used this in the last 90 days? If not, am I going to use it in the next 90 days? And if not, then I give myself permission to let go. If I have used it, then great. It's adding value to my life. I don't want to get rid of it. A couple more rules. One is called the just-in-case rule. We also refer to it as a 20-20 rule. We hold on to so many items just in case we might need them someday in some non-existent hypothetical future. I'll keep this just in case, this old cable just in case, this old box just in case. But what we've learned is that any just-in-case item we can let go of because it can be replaced for less than $20 in less than 20 minutes from wherever you are. And the cool thing about that rule is you never end up having to use it. I've had to use it fewer than 5 times in the last 10 years. And so it gave me permission to let go of tens of thousands of other just-in-case items. One final rule for you. We call it the no junk rule. Everything you own can fit in one of 3 piles. It's either essential, it's non-essential but value-adding, or it's junk. Now, we all have the same essentials, food, clothing, shelter, etc. And so if I own something that is essential, I don't want to get rid of it. The next category is something that adds value to my life. It's non-essential. Yes, I could live without a couch or a coffee table, but those things add value to my life. No reason to get rid of those things. Unfortunately, most of the things we own fit in that junk pile. Those things that don't actually add value to our lives, and they get in the way. And as soon as we identify something as junk, it's so much easier to let go.
Well, Josh, after this, I'm going to see if my colleagues, my team at the Hill will want to play that game with me. We'll see how long each of us lasts. Thank you so much for your time. And just a reminder to our viewers, The Minimalist is on Netflix as well. And Josh and his friend Ryan are doing a North America tour right now, talking about, their journey on minimalism. Josh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that brings us to the end of day 1 of the Sustainability Imperative. A big thank you to the Environmental Defense Fund for its support and to all of you for watching. For those of you who missed any of these conversations, this afternoon we will have a video from the event up on our website shortly. We will be back tomorrow with more important conversations on sustainability, including a discussion with actress Sigourney Weaver and U.S. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm. You won't want to miss it. Until then, I'm Julia Manchester.